Hey guys, welcome back to my balcony. And, another very hot and humid day in Matsuyama. But somebody asked me in a comment on another video, requested that I make a video about the disadvantages to living in a rural prefecture, in a rural city in Japan. And I think I've said a few times on the channel before that I really like living out in Matsuyama and Ehime, down on Shikoku. For those of you who haven't seen many of my videos before, I am living out, pretty obvious from my channel name, but I'm living out in the Inaka, in the middle of nowhere. Sort of. I mean, this is still a city of 500,000 people. It's not a small city by any stretch of the imagination. But overall, it's not like living in Tokyo, and it's not like living in Osaka. You don't have big skyscrapers. It's not a particularly busy or bustling city, and my prefecture is out a bit in the middle of nowhere. And there are disadvantages to living out here. It can be frustrating at times. I really like the pace of life in Matsuyama. I enjoy being out in rural areas. I grew up on a farm in England. Even studying in Oxford, it's Oxford isn't a big town by any stretch of the imagination either. Oxford's a small city, a great city, but a small city. So I'm used to it. But even so, still, being in Oxford, it's only an hour and a half's bus ride to London. You can easily make a day trip to London whenever you want to, really. But out here in Matsuyama, you can't do that. You can't just pop over to Tokyo or Osaka when you want to. It's a long trip. When I went to Tokyo over Christmas, had to get a night bus. An 8-9 hour night bus. There are other ways you can go by train, but there's no Shinkansen down on Shikoku. We're the only island of the 4 main Japanese islands that don't have Shinkansen. You have to catch the normal train, the express and the special expresses up to Okayama, which is just across on the mainland, and get a Shinkansen from there. But it takes you, even on the special expresses, it can take you a couple hours to get to Okayama. You can take the ferry across to Hiroshima, but again, take your time. So yeah, you have to plan trips to the big cities well in advance, and it's expensive. It cost me about £100 odd, about Ichiman N for a one-way ticket to Tokyo. So get 2 of those, you already set yourself back a couple of £100 just to get there and back. And if you do like the big city, then it can be difficult. Flying as well is another option, but Japan has only just got a budget airline, an internal airline, but that doesn't come to Shikoku yet. You can't really get it from Matsuyama. You might be able to get it from Matsuyama to the big cities. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think you can. Somebody might be able to correct me there, but I don't think you can. I don't think the budget airline has come to Matsuyama yet, full stop. But I might be wrong on that. It is literally in the last few months that it's appeared, and so I'm not particularly sure. But I went over to Kyushu about a month ago, and I was hoping I'd be able to get the airline over to that, but I couldn't. It doesn't go from Matsuyama to Kyushu. I had to catch an ANA flight, which is expensive. So yeah, traveling beyond Matsuyama, it can be expensive, and it takes time, and it requires planning. So that's one thing to consider if you do want to visit the big cities. If you feel like you need to get away from time to time. I've got friends doing their year abroad in Tokyo and Osaka, and I see them saying, off to Roppongi or Shibuya or Shinjuku tonight, and I get a bit envious sometimes. Of course, it's balanced out by the fact that if living in Tokyo, you just naturally have less money to go and do these things anyway, and it costs a lot more money to go out and do things in Tokyo. So it balances out that living in Matsuyama, I do have more money. I can go out and enjoy myself more often. There's just fewer things to do. So I think for me, those are the biggest difficulties. You know, there are more foreigners in Tokyo and Osaka and the big cities, but no matter where you go, there's always going to be gaijin communities around, so that's not really a problem if you want to meet other people, meet other English speakers, or you know, speakers of your own language. So you know, for me, that's the big problem. Can't think of anything else really off the top of my head that's really particularly frustrated me about being out here. But yeah, just that sort of thing. There's much less variety. You know, and it's difficult to get to the big cities. It's difficult to go and experience that side of Japan. You know, if anything else comes to me, I'll make another video about it. I'll make a follow-up video to it. But for me, that is the biggest thing about being out here that people should consider before they come and study in rural Japan is it can that can be difficult. But yeah, other than that though, you know, like I said, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, and overall I have really enjoyed my time out here. I love the pace of life in Matsuyama, in rural Japan. I love being down in Shikoku. You know, if I came back to Japan in the future, I'd probably like to try a different side of things. I'd like to spend some time in Tokyo, you know, one of the big cities. But for my year abroad here, it's been a great place to live. And you know, I don't think it makes a great deal of difference from the educational side. To be honest, it's probably maybe a bonus being here from the educational side, because there's just fewer foreigners to meet that you can meet if you want to. Like I said, you know, it's easy enough to go and meet foreigners. In your day-to-day life, you're just going to be forced to use Japanese more, I think, living out here. But it probably doesn't make a great deal of difference. So yeah, that's for me. That's the big thing. So thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next video.